Hello everybody and welcome back. Today on the painting block we have a squad of Bullgors. This standard 6-unit squad has the following combination of weapons. The lead is a Bloodkin with a Bullgor Great Axe. Flanking him will be 2 members which contain a Bullgor Axe with shield. The one directly behind this one will be carrying a pair of Bullgor Axes. And the 2 behind them will also be carrying Bullgor axes. However, this one will be carrying a drum, and this one will be the banner bearer. Let's go over their traits and abilities. The stat line of the Bullgors themselves is the following. Basically, I can have any number of models within the Bullgor unit will have any of the following combinations. All of them will carry a pair of Bullgor horns, as well as an option whether a pair of axes, axe and bull shield, or a Bullgor Great Axe. The Bloodkin itself, which will be the leader of the unit, will get +1 to his attack if he has a Bullgor axe or axes, or if he has the Great Axe. The drummer model, one in every 3 models of this unit can become a Warherd drummer. It gives them +1 to charge for any unit that contains a Warherd drummer. Warherd banner bearer gives +1 to the bravery characteristics of any unit that adds +1 bravery characteristic of a unit that includes any banner bearer for each enemy unit within 12 inches of that unit. They do get the blood greed effect, which means any 6s, that unmodified roll of 6s for their attacks inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to normal damage, and this will be on the wound only. So if I hit and make a wound and any of them are 6s, they get mortal wounds as well as the included 2 or 3 or 1 damage. Now for the one carrying the dual axes, I can reroll the hit rolls of 1 for him. The bull shields, however, will get +1 to the save rolls made with melee weapons that target a unit with bull shields. Their keywords will be Chaos, Beasts of Chaos, Warherd, and Bullgors. So, for the Bullgors, a little bit of lore with them. Basically, these are Minotaurs, in a way. They're the more shock troops. Basically, they run in, flank in, take on a lot of small infantry, especially with the way they go. Basically, for their standard combination of attacks, each of my Bullgors gets 3 attacks if they have a standard axe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these units get 15 attacks automatically. Now, for my leader, the Bloodkin, he only gets 2 attacks because he has the axe. However, because he is the boss, he gets +1 additional attack with the axe. So it'll be a total of 18 attacks swinging on them. For this particular model only, I can reroll the 1s. And for these 2, basically, as long as they're alive in the unit, they will give the entire unit a +1 to their armor save, which will basically be a 4-up armor save. And then for the banner, they'll get +1 bravery for every enemy unit around them. So let's say if there's just 1 unit, instead of bravery 6, it'll be bravery 7, if I'm remembering the proper combination. So as long as shock tests or morale doesn't affect them too much, they should be able to stand as long as they're in the thick of it. And then thanks to the drummer, they will also be able to get +1 to their charge. So my natural assumption, if it's a standard 12-inch charge, they'll be able to do it on a 13. So that will be it really for the Bullgors themselves. I'm going to go ahead and go through the paints over real quick. Now, for the base coats for everything, basically for any of the brass, I used a base coat of Warplock Bronze. Basically, you can easily see that off the shoulder pads or the chest rigs or the little icon up here. There's a standard base coat for that. For their skin, I started off with a nice Morphang Brown. For any leather, I went with a Rhinox hide, which you can tell from here. Their gauntlets, maybe some straps. For the weapons, I stuck with the standard gunmetal. And then specifically for the axe itself of my Bloodkin, although you can't really see it as effectively, I went ahead and did a Void Shield blue into the crevice of itself. And then finally, for all their fur, like normal, we're sticking with the standard uniform gray. Alright, so for this next part, went ahead and did a nice Army Painter strong tone for the entirety of the model itself to really give it that dirty look, as well as darken most of the recesses. What I also did is not only did I do a base coat of the bones for a highlight as a base coat, but I also went back over some of it as standard highlighting. And then finally, I had to use matte black to reapply for the toes, claws, nails, any type of more darker spots just to keep it simple and proper. So for the other half of the highlight, on the skin I started off using Scrag Brown, and then I finalized it with Deathclaw Brown. As it might not be easily seen, but for some of these models, I kind of made a mess up if you actually got to see the stream. Basically, I started off layer painting it instead of dry brushing it, which kind of for some of them made it more shiny than anything, and I kind of hated that combination. So for two of the models, I believe it was my boss here, as well as the drummer boy, I did just standard layer painting on the skin itself. However, due to the extra terrain, I was able to at least cover up some of that. But for the other ones, I just went ahead and did a dry brush. Now, let me go ahead and show a small side-by-side comparison, if it's even able to be seen from my crappy camera. But basically, ideally, if you're not going to go in too much detail, luckily for me, I went ahead with some extra detail involving the snow and the snow paint. I was able to fix up some of my mistakes. But ideally, if you're just going for standard colors, my recommendation is sticking with a dry brush, because what it does is it will focus more on highlighting as well as applying a nice gritty texture to the skin itself, rather than being a bit more shiny than most. Like I said, due to the crappy camera I have, you can't see it as well, but for most people, the boss man, when I did a layer paint, will come out a lot more shiny than the shield man, which I did a standard dry brush with. For the leather, I went ahead and just stuck with the standard Gothor brown, and then did a nice little highlight with Baneblade brown, which, as you can easily show from the cloth itself, it gives it that extra leather texture to it, as well as not easily seen on the gauntlets themselves. And then finally, to highlight the brass, I went ahead and just stuck with the standard brass scorpion, which definitely gives it that extra gleam and glow that you can easily see from it. For this one, I decided to stick with the layer painting, not dry brushing, in order to at least keep that sheen and shine. And then I kind of did it in different ways for each model. Like, as you can see for the boss here, his armor here is a lot more shiny than the other half, as I stuck with like a different amount of techniques. Mostly just try to keep with some lighting effect, like the light might shine somewhat on his, while others may be more faded because it's more reused. But it's depending on how you want to do it exactly. I would recommend mixing up everything, do layer paint on one, dry brush on another, just dab it a bit on some edges, just something to give that little bit of effort into it. And then finally, because we're sticking with my standard winter theme, I decided to do a little different. Instead of me going for my matte white, I decided to dig into my dry brush paints and did a Rackrite instead. Now, Rackrite, like I said, what I did is I applied the Rackrite to all of the models themselves, as it adds a nice little winter tone effect, or at least more dust and dirt. Because, for example, my theme for these guys will be basically the coming of winter of sorts in some form or fashion. So if I dry brush with the Rackrite instead of the matte white, not only will it be a lot easier to apply with my dry brush, but it won't clog up any excess details, and I'll be focused strictly on highlighting, such as you can easily see, as no matter how much snow they have been dusting off from their long trek from one plane to another, there'll be that winter effect would still be like the frostbite on the skin, or maybe covering it, or maybe it like popping up on the fur or hiding inside the body where it's not moving as much, which is what I also did with the Valhallan Blizzard as well. because, like, pending on how big the warband is, it's not always going to be completely snowed in. It might be more early winter. They might have been trekking behind the big war herd. So most of the, as you can tell from the bases, most of the snow might have already been stomped up or turning it slowly into mud due to the amount of footsteps behind them or in front of them. As well as, same thing, because it's also long treks, what I did is focused more on their backs because of their hunched forward thing. They might be able to shake off all the snow on their armor or hiding in their arms, but it's going to be clinging to all that fur or hiding up top here, hiding up like right on top of the pole itself, because you're going to be carrying that for days on end. It's not gonna be easily shaken off unless you stop and break for a day. Same thing with like the shields itself. Like it'll come off the shield, but it will like hide in the crevices on the armor and the bits and pieces of it. But at least with it, it'll at least show some type of detail of them moving around, running through, just being hit constantly by snow and blizzards and whatever they just trek through. All right, basically that will be it for the Bullgors. I will kind of say I apologize for taking forever on these guys. Even though there was 6 of them, it was definitely kind of a chore to really sit down and focus on them and work on them, and especially with life coming in the way. It's like, yeah, no, let's do something else for a day or 2 or 3 and then a week. Oh, yeah. But other than that, but I do have something special for y'all. Let me just go ahead and do a quick screen change. And that is our new mystery surprise. Hopefully this might help out a bit. Let me see what we even have today. Couldn't find my knife, so I'm trying to use what I can. There we go. What Warp Crate sent me this week. Package out. Same material thing. Oh, here we go. That's a little nice. Let's go ahead and set it aside, since we always know the combination. Let's see. Carefully opening. Roll. And it is a squad of Space Wolves. Let's take a look. There we go. Okay, so we have 1 Space Wolf, 2 Space... Oh, this looks like just standard Space Marine. Ooh, another dynamic pose Space Marine. And then a 3rd Space Marine. Okay, so we have ourselves 1 Space Wolf as well as 3 Marines, which we can easily convert into anything. Ah, interesting. This one has, and these 2 have dynamic poses, so they might just go right here. So, like, for example, this one can go right here, and that lets him stand up. And then this, ooh, interesting. These 2 have dynamic poses, but I have a 3rd base that I don't really need. It might have been for this guy, but I don't understand why they would make his base so large. Weird. I got a smaller base for this guy I can find. I think he would be either he won't exactly be a lone wolf. He looks to be more like a captain than anything. Oh well, I'll figure what my combination out for this guy, and then obviously these 2. These might be the more newer models because I never seen any of the latest models with dynamic poses. Oh, give me 1 second. There we go. Now you can actually see worth a dang. But let's see. Yes. So we have 3 Space Marines, each one with a dynamic pose, and then 1 that appears to not have a proper base with it. Interesting. So I might just have to flatten this or come in with a drill or something and try to recenter him on it, ideally. But yeah, these are interesting. These are definitely the newer ones, because I definitely haven't bought any of the newer stuff yet. But like these guys do have a nice dynamic entry, dynamic pose. Each one just set with a certain way. Maybe if I reset this one a bit, shift him just a bit. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, and that way they'd be a lot more dynamic, a little lean to him, and then plus it's easily removable, so I can just pull him off, spritz him down, and then start going over the layers. I might decide to do a nice little random effect with these guys. I don't really know what should I do with them. I could probably just build a kill team out of them or something. But the Space Wolf here, oh yeah, look at him. He looks nice. I think he was just a standard kit bash. Yeah, Space Wolf, yeah, standard belt, cape, gun, rune axe. He is dynamic as well, so this probably has to be his base. I do not know what I want to do with him. I have to look up the rules again for Space Wolves. It's been a while since I've opened that book, but for now, that will be it for this one. And like I said, since it took me a while, I have 2 warp crates for you. This will also make up for the previous one I did that I did really, really quick because I didn't receive a warp crate for the last model I did, which was the Gracier. Because this was just one model, it's pretty easy to work on him. So let me find the little blade. Here it is. There it is. It only took me to the last try. Alright, where do we... Oh, interesting. What are you? Now that's a first. Well, let's find out. Oh. Here we go. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Come on. All nicely wrapped. And who do we have here? We have... Ooh, Chaos Cultists. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Chaos Cultist with a flamer. Chaos Cultist with a weapon. Oh, yeah, this is going to be... I hated painting them sometimes. I really do, but... God, it looks so nice. Ooh. Okay, so basically it has been a while. I've been buying these, as you guys know, I've been buying these guys for a good bit. Oh, and they gave me a full kit of Space Marines. Nice. Okay, let me zoom down real quick. Okay, so I think they did a little something special with this one because I've had these guys for about 2 weeks or 2 months ish. They actually gave me a little surprise. Interesting. So first what they did was they gave me a standard squad of 5 cultists. And then what they also did is they gave me an instruction manual as well as a kit on a squad of Chaos Space Marines. Interesting. Sweet. I might actually work on them as well. But this is they got a whole booklet and everything. There we go. Let me zoom out just a bit for y'all. Yeah, this an inspiring champion, all the different mods and attachments. Oh yeah, anything for a standard fledgling army. Perfect. Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I got a squad of Space Marines and a squad of Chaos Cultists. Let's see. This one might be... I don't know if this is a... Because this doesn't look like a cultist. This looks like a rebel Imperial Guardsman. More than... Yeah, let me show you the differences real quick. So, standard cultists look like these 3 right here. These 2, on the other hand, are not cultists, but they appear to be more renegade. I know it's freaking annoying because they're sprayed white and looks like they're prepped for contrast paints. But yeah, these 2 in particular, these appear to be renegade Imperial Guardsmen, while these 3 right here are actual cultists, because I bought these before, and these are the exact... For cultists, they're basically a pack of 4. They are interchangeable constantly. If you've seen my other video with the aspiring champion as well as the cultist, yeah. So they definitely like especially for Warp Crate, it's kind of a random crapshoot. Not exactly crapshoot, but this is pretty nice. So like you'll never know what you're gonna get. I at least got usually like 2 squads of 4, so about 8, 9-ish. So I have at least a third of the squad cult, and then 2 renegades, as well as a build myself a Chaos Space Marine squad with full combination. From what it looks like, I see a variety of body parts. I see all the pauldrons, options for guns, pistols, bolters. Ooh, axes for the aspiring, flamer, mortar, power gauntlet. It looks to be like there's a couple things missing. I don't know exactly what, but it doesn't seem like anything crazy or important. But we'll take a look at it when we come down to it. For now, these guys will be on the back burner more than anything. Yeah, no, I guess that's it. So basically I have a standard squad of Space Marines. I could probably just make 5 from this. But this will be an option for later. I'm going to just put this back in the bag for that, and then I'm going to take the cultists and I'm going to put them back in the... I'm going to put them in the shelf with the rest of the Marines and cultists. And the... So like same combination like last time I did a video like this, where I had the... where I had some Terminators and Possessed. Like as I pointed out before, these guys appear to be more Terminator-esque. However, when I pulled them all out, like these two right here don't make any sense. This one is by himself, and then like half of this can be possessed, and the other half can be like somewhat of a Terminator type deal. So, like I said, same thing with Warp Crate. It's anything goes. My assumption is someone turned these back in, or they painted these up and they couldn't really figure out what they wanted to do, so they resell them, because that's what Warp Crate kind of does too. They take in models that no one can paint or want or do, so it leaves combinations and options available. So like I said, so at least for this next episode, or next video I'm planning on making, I'm probably just going to stick with my current combination of Beastmen, and then maybe I'll start digging into the Warp Crates themselves, get them printed and primed up, because I also have a bunch of Chaos that I need to work on as well. But at least other than that, that will be it for now. I do thank you guys for joining me on this video. I'm actually quite surprised with the haul I got this time, and I hope next time will be even better. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the time, edit this video. Ideally, I'm going to try to send this out the same day, shorten it down a lot. Bugger. And then hopefully you guys enjoy it. Like I said, leave comments down below, recommendations, questions, what you guys want to actually see or paint, or if you guys really enjoy how I paint these models, feel free to comment, message, do whatever, come to my Twitch, send me a direct link or however, and just say like, hey, how much would it cost you for me to paint it for you? But thank you guys very much for your time, and I hope to see y'all again next time.